I recently bought a set of electric drums, and as you can see, they're all rubber heads, and me, I was used to a real set of drums, and hitting the real drums and hitting this rubber is a little different in these smaller pads. Now I don't mind the tom pads as bad as I do the snare. I like a real snare feel. So today I will be working on converting over this acoustic drum snare over to electric drums, and hopefully it'll work and give me a real feel of drums. Because as I've already said, I don't mind the toms as bad. I can tolerate that for right now. So first you will need you a piece of plywood. I guess it's about 1/4 of an inch. And some L brackets and some screws and some nuts and bolts to where you can adjust it. You will need a stereo jack if you are running the rim and also the one for the head of the drum. So that's the beginning of in some wire and a couple of piezo transducers, which that's what that little feller is. Next you will need a piece of a sheet metal, such as this is the side of a Dell computer. Something around that thickness will be fine. You get it too thin, it will cause triggering problems. And you will also need a 1-inch thickness of a high density foam to put on the top. And you will need some piezo transducers, as I said. Me, I'm using double stick foam tape, such as the 3M here. You can use hot glue. Some guys just glue it straight to it. And some guys will take and just peel this or glue it and put it in the center of their sheet metal, which that works. But I got to noticing on, I think it's the Alicia's MD10s, how they had fixed their triggering system, and they actually had a piece of plate, and this was from my old set of drums, which was some odd brand, and that's the way they had the snare fixed on it. So this is from it, but use something such as a piece of plastic, such as a polyurethane plastic or something that's kind of hard, something such as a CD. But the only reason you can't use a CD is the hole in the middle. It takes away from the triggering in the center of this piezo. But something such as that you will use double stick tape, and this end will be stucken down such as this. You just set it in there and push your foam tape down, and that gives you a, now this is supposed to help on the hot spots. I haven't tried it. I'm going to see what happens. And then from there you will just simply glue your piezo transducer on that. Okay, now I have the piezo transducer attached to my piece of plastic that's in between the metal plate. And next we will need to mount the metal plate down to your plywood. You can use little screws and some spacers if you wanna. But what I'm going to try is little pieces from a flip-flop. That's what these are. I spaced them about every 4 inches apart. And it's from an old cheap flip-flop. I just cut them out, and what that does, that gives you a little bit of sponges. This is real high density rubber that these flip-flops are made out of, and that gives you a little give if the foam fails, which the foam shouldn't. So use little spacers and screws, or in my case I'm using little pieces of flip-flop. And when you attach these down, you can use your hot glue gun, which I am, or you can just simply cut little strips from this and just glue your metal piece down to these pieces, or you put your shims in and your bolts, whichever way you choose. Now we have the metal plate attached down to the wood. Now next you will want to stationary this foam. Some guys throw it in there and that's fine, which I don't believe it's going nowhere even if you don't glue it, because of the drum head will hold it on. But I just simply take the hot glue gun and raise it up and shoot a little hot glue in it, hold it down for a second, and man, it ain't going nowhere. And now we are to installing the drum head. Now when we install the drum head, now guys, you can when you build these drum heads, as you can see, I built this from scratch, and this is just simply heavy duty screen door polyurethane like type screen that you would put within your screen door on your home. And you can see where I use where I have attached it down, sewed it down, and this is a single one. Some guys double it, and in this case it works better. My old drums it didn't, and you just simply lay two on it and sew it and kind of offset them. Now what I'm going to do though, bends it, this is done and sewed, and bends that we are dealing with a foam underneath, I'm simply going to take another piece of screen, and you can see I left it long to where I can cap it down over the edge of the rim shell, and we will just simply set the other one on top, and offset them, of course. It looks better and hides all the mess underneath it. That will be the way we do our drum head, and I will leave a link on how I built the drum head itself. Okay, we have our drum head installed on the top and adjusted approximately the way you want. Just snag it down first, because we got to adjust the bottom as well. And you will simply flip it over, and now we are going to adjust these. As you can see, it goes up and down, and the way that I do it, I just set my hand in the center and just barely just put a little pressure on it. Don't push it hard, just barely put a little pressure, and tighten up the bottom nuts and tighten these up, and it will be in place. Now I have my snare completed and together, and we will take a look at it and test it out. As you can see, it's quite larger than the rest of them, but if you want a real snare fill or drum fill, and you don't have the stuff to do the drums all the way around, the main thing after all is the snare. So if you can get a good snare fill, hey, to me it just is great. And as you can see, take a look at it, I flat blacked it and left just a little chrome on it and painted the base. After all, these drums are black, and it's got a little chrome on it here and there, and well, we will try this and see how it works. Now, this is a vacuum hose off of an automobile. I didn't have enough to go all the way around. I have to go at my auto parts and purchase that, but let's see how this thing works and go from there. As you can see, both of them works, and if you're going to do your rim, there you go.